Hey guys, thanks for joining me up to Play Games. My name is Lance, and today I'm going to teach you how to play Ghostbusters Blackout. This is a brand new game from IDW Games. It is a 1 to 4 player game that takes roughly 20 to 40 minutes to play. It is a fully cooperative game, so everybody is going to be working together to defeat the game itself. So in the game, the players are playing a team of Ghostbusters that are in New York City trying to capture the ghosts. And each round, the players are going to start off by rolling their set of dice that they're going to use the symbols on to capture ghosts, move around the board, and help the other players out. During the round, there's going to be a number of ghosts that are out, and the ghosts are going to have different effects that will hinder the Ghostbusters in their attempts to capture them. They're also going to add chaos points to the chaos track, and if the chaos track ever reaches the end of that track, then the Ghostbusters have lost. So the Ghostbusters are going to have to work together to try to capture the ghosts and try to avoid some of those bad effects, as well as keeping their eye on that chaos track so that they can manage it throughout the game. If they're able to do this and they're able to capture 15 ghosts before that chaos track reaches the end, then they have won the game and saved New York City. So, as always, if you enjoy these videos, if you like what I do, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel, as it really does help me to continue to grow and be able to bring these videos to you guys. If you want to stay up to date on all my videos, also consider hitting that bell so you get notifications anytime I release new content. So let's head to the table and I'll teach you guys how to play. Ghostbusters Blackout comes with 4 custom sets of 6-sided dice. Each die is going to have a trap, a ghost, the Ecto-1, PKE, and 2 streams on it, and these will be used to fight off different ghosts and do different actions, and I'll explain how this works later in the video. There are also 2 custom decks of cards the players will be using throughout the game. The first one are the ghost cards, and there'll be 24 of these. Each ghost card will list a name of the ghost at the top. On the side are the symbols and number of dice that the players must lock in order to defeat that ghost and trap it. And then finally, each ghost is going to have a special ability which will be in effect until that ghost is eliminated. Some of the ghosts will also have colored sections, which means that the players must lock that color die and that symbol in there in order to defeat that ghost as well. So for Stay Puft here, he needs 3 regular streams from any Ghostbusters, and then he's also going to need 1 stream from a blue and 1 stream from a yellow Ghostbuster. Then we have the equipment cards, and there'll be 23 of these. Each equipment card will have a name at the top, and on the side here are the symbols you have to spend in order to purchase that piece of equipment. And then at the bottom of the card is going to be that equipment's effect. And there are 3 different types of equipment. We have single use that'll be discarded after the item is used. We have equipment that'll stay with the character that they can use once per activation. And then finally we have location equipment, which will be placed on the board and will have an effect. Moving over to the tokens, I want to go into detail on these. So first off, we have the possession token. So when a Ghostbuster is possessed by one of these tokens, then they are not allowed to spend any dice to try to capture ghosts. They can do all the other actions that they normally can, such as re-rolling, movement, purchasing equipment, reducing chaos, and sharing a die with other Ghostbusters, but they cannot attempt to try to trap ghosts by spending dice on them. In order to remove a possession token, they have to play a die with the ghost symbol on it, whether it's theirs or from another Ghostbuster that passed them the die earlier in the turn. Next, we have the reroll token, which will be unlocked later in the game once the chaos reaches a certain level. From there, then the Ghostbusters will each get 1 of these tokens, and the Ghostbuster can choose to spend this anytime during their turn to reroll all of their active dice that they still have. Now, this is the one exception to the normal reroll sequence, which is only allowed to be done at the beginning of a Ghostbuster's turn. This one can be done at any time during the Ghostbuster's turn, even after they've spent some dice, so a very powerful token. And then we have the mass hysteria tokens, which I want to go into detail on, as some of these gave me a little bit of trouble, and I was able to talk with the designer of the game to get some clarifications on these. So with these, there'll be 2 of these used randomly in your game during each of the games, and once you trap a certain number of ghosts, these will be flipped over and revealed at the end of the round. So with these 3 here we have, which immediately discard all of a certain symbol rolled this round, these are going to take effect the following round. As you've already taken care of all your dice this round, these will not apply until the following round. And the same goes with these 4 here. With these, they will also take effect the following round, as with this one, Ghostbusters cannot use any equipment for 1 round. Ghostbusters cannot move burrows for 1 round. All Ghostbusters will lose 1 die for 1 round. And Ghostbusters cannot reduce chaos for 1 round. So these will take effect the following round and will last the remainder of that round, in which case at that point then you can discard the token and everything returns back to normal. There are 8 Ghostbusters included in the game, and each Ghostbuster will have the name of the Ghostbuster at the top, and each Ghostbuster will also have a special ability that the players will be able to use either once per round or will have some other effect. There's also a quick reference guide to all the different symbols on the Ghostbusters dice and how you can use them. Then for player setup, each player will choose one or more Ghostbusters that they would like to play depending upon the number of players. They will receive their standee as well as the color dice based on the standee that they've chosen. The last thing I want to go into is the board itself. So first off, we have the chaos tracker on the side, and as the game goes on, this tracker is going to move up along that track. Once it reaches the 15th spot on that track, all Ghostbusters are going to receive a reroll token, and if it ever reaches the last point on that track, then the Ghostbusters have lost the game. Then we have the locations. There are going to be 5 locations on the board, and each one of them is going to be color coordinated with a symbol of a ghost on it, which is where the ghost cards are going to be placed throughout the game. Now, each location is going to be adjacent to another location that will be connected by a line, so the Ghostbusters will always know which locations are adjacent following those lines. Each location is also going to have the chaos symbol with a +1, and if that location is empty, if it has no Ghostbusters in it at the end of the round, then it's going to add 1 chaos to the chaos track on top of whatever the ghost does as well. Finally, at the bottom of the board is going to be the trap track, which as the Ghostbusters trap ghosts, they'll move their trap along this track. There will also be 2 locations with the hysteria tokens, which will be placed on there, and once that reaches there, then that will be flipped over and revealed and resolved at that point. If the Ghostbusters have trapped 15 ghosts before the chaos tracker reaches the 20th space, then they have won the game. For board setup, the first thing you're going to do is lay out the game board, and then you can grab all the different tokens you're going to use for the game. So first off, you're going to have the trap token, which is going to go on the end of the trap track. Then you can grab the chaos token. That's also going to go in the top spot, the number 1 space on the chaos track. You have the 4 possession tokens, which will go anywhere where the players can reach them. And then you also have the reroll tokens, which you can either place on the number 15 slot where their icon is, or you can place those off to the side as well. With the final set of tokens, we have the mass hysteria tokens. You go ahead and shuffle those up and randomly deal out 2 of them, one to the number 5 and number 10 slots. All the remaining hysteria tokens can be returned to the box, as you're not going to use those for this game. Then you're always going to have 4 Ghostbusters playing in the game, so depending upon the number of players you have, some players may play with more than 1 Ghostbuster. And you can choose any of the available Ghostbusters you want to play as. For my game, I've gone ahead and used the 4 old school Ghostbusters, so we have Peter Venkman, Egon, Winston, and Ray. Each Ghostbuster will choose a color that they want to play as, and will receive the stand of that color, as you guys already saw, and then we will also have the dice for those. Finally, you want to check on the Ghostbusters cards, and some of the Ghostbusters special abilities will be activated immediately. So with Ray, he will also start with the Ecto Goggles, so that'll be placed next to his character at the beginning of the game. Finally, we have the 2 decks of cards we'll be using. So we have the items deck. Go ahead and shuffle that deck up. And you're going to deal out 4 cards for the players to start with. Then each of the players is going to place their token in the Manhattan slot or the teal area to start the game. Finally, you're going to grab the Ghost deck, shuffle that up as well, and starting in the Manhattan spot, the teal spot again, and moving around the board in a clockwise manner, you're going to place out 1 face-up ghost in each area. The rest of the cards can be placed off to the side, and you'll use those later on. Ghostbusters Blackout is played over an undefined number of rounds. During each round, the players will complete 4 phases in order, which are spawning ghosts, rolling dice, activating Ghostbusters, and finally cleanup. This is going to continue until the players are either able to meet the victory conditions, which are that they will capture 15 ghosts before the chaos track reaches 20. If they're able to do this successfully, then they have won the game. If the chaos track reaches 20 before the Ghostbusters are able to capture 15 ghosts, then the Ghostbusters have lost the game. Moving into the game, the first phase in each round is spawning ghosts. So starting in Manhattan and working your way around the board, if there are any empty spaces that do not have a ghost in them, you'll go ahead and draw a new ghost card and place it in there. As this is the first round in the game, we do not have any empty spaces yet, so we don't have to worry about that. Then, starting again at the top of the board and moving your way around, check each one of the ghost cards' special abilities to see if it has any effects that will come into play at the beginning of the round. So at the top of our card we have requires 2 movement points to enter this borrow, and it's going to cause 1 chaos per round. So we don't have anything there to worry about. Moving on to Mega Spark. With this one, it's going to cause 2 chaos per round and reduce chaos by 1 when caught. So again, nothing we have to worry about. Vigo over here does have an ability. It says before rolling at the beginning of each round, all Ghostbusters are going to discard 1 die. So we'll go ahead and collect 1 die from each of our Ghostbusters to resolve that effect. And that is a really nasty one, so we're definitely going to want to try to get Vigo out of there quickly. Moving on, we have this one is going to cause 2 chaos per round. So again, we don't have to worry about that yet. And then finally, Gozer is only 1 die of each color may be placed on this ghost, and then we're going to reduce chaos by 1 when captured. So again, we don't have to worry about anything to begin with for that ghost. At that point, now that we've gone through all that, we're ready to move on to the second phase in the round. The second phase in the round is that the players are going to roll all their dice that they have. So each player is going to go ahead and roll the dice that they have. The third phase in the round is activating Ghostbusters. During this round, the players are going to discuss the best course of action, how they want to spend their dice, and who they want to activate in what order. So let's go ahead and take a look at some examples of this. So first off, our Ghostbusters, like I said, are going to discuss what plan of action they want to do. And obviously, Vigo is one of the nastiest ghosts out right now, so our players need to handle him. So Egon here has 3 streams, so he has enough to handle the streams. And Ray or Venkman also have some traps. So either the players can choose to send both Ghostbusters over there to handle him, or again, each player is allowed to pass 1 of their dice to another player during their turn. So for example, we could have Ray go first. He could pass a die to Egon for the trap, and then he could continue on with his other actions. So let's go ahead and start off with Winston here. He's going to go ahead and pass one of his Ecto-1 dice to Ray so that he can use that during his turn. Then Winston has some other options. So he's going to use his special ability to do a free move action, which will move him down here. And anytime a Ghostbuster moves into a new location, you want to cover up that +1 chaos, as that is not going to be in effect as long as a Ghostbuster is in that space. Then he can choose to use any dice that he has to fight a ghost. And again, Gozer can only have 1 die placed on him by each Ghostbuster of each color. So our Ghostbuster is going to place the trapped ghost symbol there to take care of that. He's going to spend another die to move to another location, and then he's going to use his last die to work on that ghost as well. That is the end of Winston's turn, and you must always resolve all of the Ghostbusters dice that you want to during their turn. Once they have completed their turn or choose not to spend any of their dice, their turn is over and they cannot do anything else for the rest of the round. From there, then we'll move on to another Ghostbuster to take their turn. So let's go ahead and have Venkman go next. So he does not like the dice symbols that he has, so he can choose to discard 1 die and re-roll the rest of them. And he must do this at the beginning of his turn. He cannot choose to do this at any other point during his turn. All right, so a little better there. So from there, then he can choose to do the rest of his actions. He's going to go ahead and spend 1 on that ghost there. He'll go ahead and pass another 1 to Egon. And with Venkman's special ability, he can pass it to any Ghostbuster, not only one that is in the same space as him. And then finally, he is going to spend the trapped ghost to reduce the chaos by 1. And that'll finish off his turn. And we'll go ahead and place him here just to represent that. Then we will move on to the next Ghostbuster. So Egon here is going to go ahead and go. He will go ahead and move into this space here, and he will spend the other dice to trap Vigo. Then his turn is done, so then finally we're over to Ray to take his turn. So Ray has a stream that he'll use on our ghost up here, as that is required by the color that is on there. And then he's going to go ahead and move. He's going to go ahead and move up here and place this other one up here. And he doesn't have any other symbols that he can use right now, as he has the 2 traps, so those are simply going to be wasted. Finally, he does have his ecto goggles, which according to his special rules, he can use once per round. So we'll go ahead and resolve that. And so we have Slimer. We'll look at the top card of the deck, and we can choose to either leave the card on top or place it at the bottom. Slimer's not that bad, so we're going to go ahead and leave that card on the top. From here, then, all of our players have done all of the actions that they can do during the turn. So then we'll move on to the final phase in the round, which is the cleanup phase. The final phase in the round is the cleanup phase, and there's a number of steps in this one. First off, any ghosts that have met all the requirements for capture are going to be removed from the fields, and the capture track will be moved up that number of spaces. So we captured Vigo, he was the only one, so he'll be removed, and we have 1 captured ghost now on our track. Then we're going to go ahead and go around the board and resolve any of the ghost's effects, and you can do this either in clockwise order or in any order that you choose. So starting at the top for us, we have our ghost here, which is going to add 1 chaos to the track. And then any of the spaces that do not have a Ghostbuster on them, we're also going to add 1 chaos, except for spaces where the ghost was captured. So even if we didn't have a Ghostbuster here, this would not add +1 chaos to that area. So we do have a Ghostbuster here, so this will not be added, and we'll just add the 1 from the ghosts. Then moving on, we have Mega Spark. He is going to add 2 chaos per round, and there is a Ghostbuster there, so that is not going to add an additional, so that'll be 2. Moving on, again, we do not have a ghost here, so we will not add any additional chaos. This one here has a Ghostbuster, but this ghost is going to add 2 additional, so we're up to 5. And then finally over to Gozer. With that one, he does not add any personally, but it is going to add +1 from the area, as there's not a Ghostbuster there, so we're up to 6. Finally, then the Ghostbusters are going to receive all of their dice back, except for dice that are on active ghosts. So none of those will be returned. There's a couple of additional rules I want to cover real quick. So the first one is with the Chaos track, and the first time the Chaos track reaches 15, each player is going to receive 1 reroll token. And a reroll token can be used anytime during a player's turn to reroll all of their active dice. And this is the one exception to the rule that this token can be used anytime during the turn, even after a player spends some of their active dice. So this will allow them to reroll any active dice that they have remaining. The other rule that I want to take a look at is the possession token. So anytime a Ghostbuster is possessed, they are not allowed to spend any dice that they have to try to capture ghosts. They can do any of the other actions they have, including giving a die to another Ghostbuster, moving around the board, buying equipment, and reducing the chaos track by 1 by using a trapped ghost. In order to remove a possession token, they will have to spend a trapped ghost symbol. Once they do, then that possession token is removed, and any dice that they have remaining can be used as usual, including using them to trap ghosts. Well, I hope everyone found that video helpful. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video and leave me feedback on them. I do really appreciate it, and I take into account everything you say to make the best possible videos. If you found this video helpful, if you like what I do, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel, as it really does make a big difference, helps me to continue to grow and produce these videos for you. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.